What's up? What's up? What's up? See if we get some people in. All right, people coming in. Good afternoon, folks. Ricky Analog reporting for duty. Oh, there's Kim. Let's get Kim in here. Hopefully my internet connection or my cell reception works well enough for this. What's up, Kim?
I'm doing good, Ricky. How you doing?
I'm good. I am currently driving through the desert on my way to Las Vegas.
Wow. Are you on your way to Traders for a Cause?
Yep, I am.
That's so cool.
On my way.
That is so cool. How long is that drive, man?
It's like 5 hours. I'm about 2 hours out, so I'm literally out in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully the reception's okay for this.
Okay, cool.
And I mean, it's really flat and boring out here, so I'm not, hopefully anybody watching this isn't like, Ricky's endangering himself or everyone on the road. Like, there's nothing out here. This is like fear and loathing.
Okay, good. As long as you're safe. I love that drive out west. That's like California to Vegas to like Utah. It's the best.
Yeah. But I will not be able to like read the comments or.
Okay.
So
hopefully
everybody can go. Hopefully everybody can go and share this link on Twitter and wherever else.
Yep. Absolutely. And if I see the questions, once you cut in and out.
Points.
You'll have a good signal. You're jumping in and out a little bit. We'll figure it out. And you guys, before we jump in, keep in mind that you want to. Can you hear me okay now?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Your signal's a little weak, so I wasn't sure if I was hearing you or not. But
yeah.
So how long are you going to be on the road for?
I've got about another 2 hours.
Okay, not so bad. If I see any questions that are specific, I'll read them for you.
Okay. Yeah, I've just been driving and trying to memorize my speech.
How long is your talk, man?
25 minutes or something.
Okay. And what are you talking on? Give us a little preview.
You'd be proud of me. There's a lot of stuff in there about the importance of the psychological aspects. I even quote Finding Joe. I talk about Finding Joe.
You do? I'm so psyched to hear that. So if you guys don't know, Finding Joe is a documentary that I'm a big fan of. And why don't you tell everybody what you got out of that movie, what that documentary did for you?
Well, just the concept of the hero's journey and the importance of, doing our own deep dives and reinventing ourselves from time to time, and then, having it come full circle where we kind of return as a reborn person.
Yep. That's so awesome. I'm so happy you watched the documentary, and I'm so glad you liked it enough to want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, lots of value in it.
Oh, so good. Joe Campbell completely changed my life. When I was about 20 years old, I saw him interviewed by Bill Moyers on a series that's still on Amazon called The Power of Myth. And it's 6 hours long. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I'll tell you guys, I've listened to it hundreds of times and never been bored with it. He's one of the best storytellers ever. And Finding Joe, the movie.com, if you guys want to watch it, is a kind of a appetizer, or as you know, Ricky, in Hawaii, we say a poo-poo. An appetizer in Hawaiian is a poo-poo platter of Joe Campbell. So if you want to just get a taster, watch Finding Joe. But if you want the whole banquet, go watch The Power of Myth, which has actually influenced George Lucas. I don't know if you know that, Ricky, but when George Lucas saw that, he came up, he read his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, and came up with Star Wars.
I was gonna say, yeah, Star Wars is like the epitome of the hero's journey.
Yep. All influenced by Joe Campbell's book, Hero with a Thousand Faces. So all the stories of all times, all the world's religions, from Muhammad to Jesus to Buddha, they all go through the same. Harry Potter, The Matrix, Luke Skywalker, every single one of them is the same. So anyway, and you are the hero of your journey. And that is what I want everybody to get. Everybody's looking for the hero outside themselves, but we are our own heroes, but we're looking so externally, we never look internally, and that's where the hero's hiding. So anyway, all right, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, you're good. I love it. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You gotta save yourself.
Exactly.
So for everybody tuning in, if this is your first time catching this little series me and Kim do, it's called Method and Mindset. So we're going to take, in a minute, we're going to bring in a third person who is a trader that would like a little bit of coaching from both the mental aspect side of things and the technical side. And obviously, Kim is the mental person, not mental like she is well versed in everything in between the ears. And I am the guy that tries to address any kind of technical side of stuff. And it's funny because there's so much crossover, right? A lot of times, I always say that a lot of things that people think are technical issues are just mental issues masquerading. So we're going to get into it. We have a guest. I'm going to bring him in.
Yep. And as he finds our guest and to bring them in, I want you guys to go to methodofmindset.com, sign up, because Ricky and I both have 7 hours of content there that's totally free. It's our way of saying thanks for being part of this. I'm so excited to speak to our guest today, but be sure you guys go there, and then we can also stay in touch with you for these in the future. Hey, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
What's your first name?
Ryan.
Just making sure I read it right. Okay, Ryan,
What's up,
it's so
Ryan?
nice to meet you. How's
What's
everything?
up? It's nice to meet you both. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Thanks for being
Glad to have
gutsy enough to come on. And I presume you give us both permission to coach you, right, Ryan?
Permission granted. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So hit us up. Tell us and those who are in the room, the Cliff Note version of what you want to work on today and what you're stumbling into.
Well, I think I'm probably stumbling into what a lot of first-year traders are stumbling into, which is inconsistency with trades. Some wins, a lot of losses, perpetually being late to the party. On big runners and buying the tops of parabolic moves, and it's funny because I feel like I'm definitely progressing. I mean, just even from the way that I speak compared to how I did when I really started doing this 11 months ago. I'm definitely making some steps, but as far as the trading is concerned, the inconsistencies are driving me nuts, because I think it in part has to do with kind of like, you don't know what you don't know, right? And, my kind of lack of knowledge of the mechanics of the market and how that affects certain trades, and how the emotions of other traders affect the moves that are happening in the market right now. So that's part of what I'm doing. Within the mental aspect is really, I mean, I probably didn't mention this before, but didn't let you guys know I'm royalty. I'm the king of FOMO Island, population number one. So the population one, and that's the thing for me is I know sometimes I'm getting into these trades. It feels like I'm chasing, although I've gotten better at analyzing charts. I think probably don't do it as well as I give myself credit for. But for whatever reason, when I'm winning these trades, I'm like, hey, I'm doing really great, feeling awesome. But also, I know that sometimes those wins didn't always come from a solid foundation of having a solid trade plan, having a thesis, following risk management, and all those things. So what is it about me? Like, why am I patting myself on the back for, moves that I know I probably shouldn't make or shouldn't be making? And I have the discipline.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'm gonna jump right in with just a few things that just stood out. Okay, one is one of the first things you said was like some wins with a lot of losses, and it's really, really important to point out right off the bat that successful trading isn't about being right all the time. In fact, very successful traders oftentimes bat 30%, 40%. They're right way less than half the time, but still make killing in the market. So don't let your win rate dictate whether or not you're doing good. Now, there are a lot of other issues that you brought up, which make me think maybe your win rate could be higher if you were doing a few other things right, like not having FOMO. A lot of what you said was sounding like you have FOMO, and that is there's some really simple things you can do technically to prevent that. But I also think there's a lot of stuff that it stems from the mental side of things, right? So I'll let Kim address that. But from the technical side of things, when you let's just look at long setups for now. I know a lot of newer traders trade long only.
Can you guys hear me?
So let's just assume everything we talk about today is going to be from the long side. Oh, and real fast before I forget, nothing I talk about is financial advice, guys. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. We're not registered broker dealers. Everything we talk about is just for entertainment purposes. Sorry, Ryan. Anyway,
I understand. So, no problem, man.
If you want to buy a stock that's in an uptrend, I mean, let the people from the outside watching this should know you're part of True Trader, right? You're already in the True Trader community, right? Yeah. From watching the material we put out and like all the webinars we've done and the strategy that we trade, that if something is going parabolic or straight up, the only way we're really looking at that trade is from the short side, right? Because we're capitalizing on the people's emotion move up like that. So, if you're looking to buy something in an uptrend, the only time that you really should be looking to get in is on dips, on pullbacks to support. Because if you're buying it when it's pushing straight up, you're most likely going to be having the trade go against you rather soon. Like, it might go in your favor for a little bit, but the chances of it just can. Plus, it's way harder to manage your risk when you chase your entry. So from a technical standpoint, it's as simple as buying dips to support, and depending on what time frame you're looking at. I mean, if you've watched the stuff I do, I talk heavily about the 20 SMA on every time frame, right? So I like in the opening 30 minutes of the day to buy pullbacks to the 1 minute 20. So on a 1 minute time frame, when we pull back to the 20 SMA, that's usually a decent spot to expect support to show up. A little bit further into the day, I'm switching to a 5 minute chart, and I like pullbacks to the 5 minute 20. Later in the day, I like to buy dips to VWAP or the 20 minute 20, or sometimes the 30 minute. But whatever it is, I'm buying dips on support in the key levels. I'm never chasing those entries, because that's the exact person I'm trying to capitalize on when I short, is the person that's rushing in buying something because it's spiking. By the way, I love your hat, bro. So does some of that resonate? Because as far as chasing your entries goes, like I said, as far as I can tell you all day long, buy pullbacks, buy dips, don't buy strength. But it's going to stem from something on the mental side, right? It's something, because you already said, what you're doing is wrong, but you still sometimes do it.
I can't help myself sometimes, man. It's crazy.
So
like an out of body experience.
that's gonna be the biggest factor right there. Not just this one example, but I'm talking your whole trading career. If you want to be successful, you have to not only know what the right thing is to do, you got to do it when the time comes to do it. And oftentimes it's really effing hard, right? Like, especially when it comes to eating a loss, right? That's where a lot of times people know, shit, man, I fucked up. I need to eat this loss. But that's usually the hardest time to actually do what you're supposed to do.
I feel like I've gotten a lot better with that. So my just a quick background, and not to run in a totally different direction with it. So I got my start kind of learning from Tim Sykes, okay? And honestly, consider him to be a pretty positive influence on how I trade, because always in the back of my head is cut losses quickly, right? Cut losses quickly. And I've gotten pretty good at that. I also, I don't think I'm bad at locating the trades that are hot, the stocks, the tickers that are moving. The issue for me, I think, is not understanding, the supply-demand imbalance. In part, I think additionally, I'm trying to stick to like one certain thing. Like, a lot of traders have the defined edge, right? I don't really have an edge yet, but I have one thing that I'd like specifically try to do, which is trying to ride momentum on some of these low float runners that have short squeeze potential. And I've caught a few of them. And that's part of what I think has kind of triggered me to stay in that realm, or stay in, doing that. I'm strictly long biased right now. Trade intentionally with a small account. Like, I started with a 4-figure account and learned very quickly, like I can get out of hand pretty easy with the FOMO and with the risk management I didn't have in place before, right?
So Ryan, Ryan and Ricky, is it okay to jump in here? I have a hard stop in my
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can I just ask you, pre-trading, Ryan, what it was you did for a living?
I actually still do what I do for a living. I am a director of training and workforce development for a consulting firm that provides service to the construction industry.
Okay, so if you're doing training for construction, would I be correct that that is a very precise, there is no room for any mistakes business?
Absolutely. In construction, no doubt about it. What I do really is we provide workforce to construction. So I kind of manage
so that
instructors, manage
workforce,
training programs.
training workforce that's going to be in a place where you can't be off by even 1/16th of an inch is very, very important. So you're going to be making sure the people that are in that workforce understand that, are the ones who come in to get trained in the first place, and probably are the kind of people that really care about the 1/16th of an inch, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you probably care a lot about being correct to that 1/16th of an inch.
Sometimes to a fault.
Well, no kidding, my friend. Mostly to the fault of your trading account. Because, and can I ask you if before that you were a straight A student in school?
I've actually gotten straight A's a few times before, and I've gotten straight B's before.
Okay, so
but
what I'm saying though is, Ryan, you are a person who likes to do things the right way, right?
yes, I am.
That could be part of what's in your way right now as a trader. Part of the challenge I see among people who are academically gifted or precise, or who are coming from industries where accuracy or measurements are so critically important, at first, as a trader, it can hinder you, because being right has been what you've been culturally, academically held to for so long, that to be wrong, it feels like an affront to your sense of identity. Is that possible? That's part of what's going on here.
you basically hit the nail right on the head. It's like you can see right through me.
So I'm going to ask you, would you be willing to take on a very unusual homework assignment?
Yes, I would.
Okay, my homework assignment to you, this is to happen in any place other than your trading, okay? Any place
Okay.
other than your trading. I want you to make 100 mistakes in the next 7 days.
100?
I love it. I love
Does that make you start to sweat?
A little, yes.
Would
100 mistakes.
Would 200 mistakes perhaps be better?
it. Oh shit.
I think I can try to manage the 100.
Okay, just checking. I really do want the heart to
Okay.
start racing, and I want the underarms to think he should have put more deodorant on this morning.
Okay.
Are you sweating already?
We're
Thinking about it?
getting there. So tell me more about this homework assignment, or is that it?
Well,
Just make 100 mistakes.
in a way, yes, that's it. What's the heart of it is the discomfort you're feeling now just with the idea of it. Right?
I can make 100 mistakes in 36 holes of golf.
Good. But does that make you feel like something's wrong with you when that happens?
No, ma'am. Golf is hard.
Yeah,
I don't beat myself up too much.
Well, hold on a second. Golf ain't any harder than trading, my friend. But there's something going on for you when you sit at your trading desk. It's possible you're bringing with you an incredibly inappropriate expectation with you when you sit at that trading desk. And it's possible you bring that with you because you consider yourself smart. You consider yourself somebody who has gotten all straight A's or straight B's through his career. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do.
So
I have a
you
feeling.
can
I have a
start
feeling.
to just find a way. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I have a feeling if he figures all this out and gets it ironed out, it's actually gonna bleed over into making his golf game better.
Probably.
I sure hope so.
But I bet your golf game isn't as bad as your trading right now because you're not as invested. Your ego isn't as wrapped up if you do shitty at golf as it is if you do shitty in your trading.
That's a fair analysis.
Right? So if you could find, like, I don't know how your golf game is, but are you fairly proud of it? Do you say, hey, look, I've done pretty good in the short amount of time or the amount of time I've been golfing?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so Ryan,
I've definitely gotten better over time.
If that's true, I wouldn't be surprised. It's because you're not attached out there. You're having fun. You're open.
Yeah.
You're not like holding it so tight. I got to do good today at golf.
That's true.
So I want you to take that energy into your trading. And the reason I'm asking you to make those mistakes outside of your trading is I want you to practice failing. I want you to get comfortable with failing, or just go play a lot of golf and fail. But I want you to see that you failing isn't world ending. And if you can start to approach your trading that way, and obviously you limit your risk so that when those mistakes happen, it isn't financially a big gun to your head. Yeah. We just want to get you a little holding it. Remember this band from the 80s? The song was called Hold On Loosely.
38 special.
But don't let go. So hold on loosely to your trading, Ryan. Learn how to make some mistakes without it being your whole identity is caught up in it. That's my homework. And play 38 special while you trade.
Now, I think that's incredible advice. I really, really appreciate that. Go ahead, Ricky. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Oh, I was
disrupt.
just gonna say one other thing I heard you mention too was that you're not sure you should be patting yourself on the back for some of the wins you have, right? Because you're not sure like you were deserving of it. That's actually very wise of you to acknowledge that. And the one thing you'll hear me say a lot in True Trader, and everybody listening to this will hopefully hear this and believe me when I say this, you can make money from a bad trade and you can lose money in a good trade. You have to know the difference. You have to. And you know, a lot of times when you take a loss or maybe you have a win, the emotions are still fresh. So it's probably not the best time to really analyze things, but you do need to take notes, right? Journal. And what you do is if you've come down from cloud nine or come up from the basement of the pits of hell, by the end of the day, maybe you can review at the end of the day, but sometimes it has to wait till the end of the week or whatever. And the problem is, if you don't take notes and you don't remember that trade and stuff, what you'll do is at the end of the week, you'll just look at your P&L on trades and you'll assume that you made money on a trade. That must have been a good trade. And you'll see you lost money on a different trade and go, that must have been a bad trade. And you can never make progress unless you take really objective, hard looks at those trades and make sure that you go, yeah, I made money there, but I shouldn't have, you know, because what you're doing is we associate the P&L with the reward system, and it shouldn't be that way. Positive reinforcement needs to come from being disciplined and doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said it on an earlier episode, right, was sometimes you have to trick your brain by, you know, rewarding it, even if what the outcome of whatever it was that you're rewarding might have been a negative experience, right? Like if you lost money, but you were disciplined and you stopped out like you should have, you kind of have to like trick your brain and celebrate, like take your ass out for ice cream or something, because
that's right.
You gotta reinforce that.
That's right. Yeah. That's it. And the same with the losses. Like if you can see, it's the two sides of the same coin, right? If you feel shitty about yourself because you aren't doing as well as you thought, and you're, you know, thinking, I love that you're saying, oh, I better not be too excited because I had I scored here, but this really maybe wasn't appropriate to. All of this has to do with like your sense of self-worth. It's so easy to get our self-worth caught up in something we're really passionate about, but the danger of that in trading is so high. So it's that, how do we get you to neutrality? How do you get neutral over wins and losses and view them exactly the same? I was very lucky to interview Jack Schwager recently. He wrote Market Wizards, and he talked about, Paul Tudor Jones talked about his first mentor. The guy could have had a huge loss or a huge win, and he'd go into his office and he couldn't tell because the guy was always neutral. He never could tell if he had a huge loss or a huge win. That's where you want to get yourself to, Ryan.
Kim, isn't one of the webinars that you've got up on methodandmindset.com dealing exactly with that? Like,
yep.
I swear. Yeah, guys, anybody that's listening to this and wants to know how to do exactly what she's saying, methodandmindset.com, there is a webinar in there directly related to that.
It's FOMO and comfort with loss, the whole webinar. And you guys get that for free. If you sign up for Method and Mindset, you'll get that particular webinar absolutely for free. I think, Ryan, you might want to watch that because it teaches you how to serve the hard to be with feelings. And if you think back to the homework assignment I gave you, why did I say 100, which sounds so dramatic? Because if you start to get really comfortable with mistakes, then they won't hurt as much. It's like I'm trying to wear down your immunity to loss. I want you to be so comfortable with loss because you're going to have that 50% of the time at a minimum as a trader, if not more. You better damn well get comfortable with it, dude. You got to be able to be like water off a duck's back. That's why I want you to make those mistakes outside of trading, so you can start to stretch and be like, oh yeah, you know how when you start going to the gym, you do those first 10 crunches, and then a month you do 50, and you're like, oh, I need to feel that rubbing against the discomfort, or I know I'm not stretching my muscle. Stretch your muscles with loss, with discomfort, not at the construction site or with the people that are about to go to the construction site, but in low-cost ways.
Yeah, and I'm not sure like how much of the material you've gone through at True Trader either, but like we had Kim come in and give a whole series of webinars over there, which are accessible to you, Ryan, just because you have access to all of our content. So there's a lot of stuff to go through from Kim, and all of it is, I would say, non-negotiable. You guys got to go watch it because it's such an under discussed topic, which is the psychological side of everything. And you know, I'm driving to Vegas right now to go actually talk a little bit about that. But it's the saddest part. The saddest thing ever is that most newer traders don't learn how important the psychological side of it is until they're forced to because of a big loss. And that is, it's sad when people have the resources out there, if they only were told to go and prioritize it, right? Prioritize the psychological side of it.
Yeah.
And especially the smart people. Ryan, I sense you're a smart guy. That's why I asked you, have you gotten straight A's? I could see that a mile away with you. So you're a smart guy. You're used to doing things the right way. You have probably very high expectations of yourself. And I want you to go for the gold, but I also want you to.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, we lost Kim for a second.
All right, I'm back for a second. Hopefully my signal picks up.
It's all good.
Dude, I'm in like the desert.
No, that's awesome, man. I've been seeing a lot about the Traders for a Cause. So I'm glad to hear that you're going to be one of the keynote speakers. That's good stuff, man.
Thank you. Yeah, try to make True Trader proud. Kim's back. We had to shuffle.
Okay,
yes, sir. All right. All right. So Kim, we got cut off there. You want me to go for the gold, but
I don't want, you wouldn't expect, if I wanted to be an Olympian athlete, you don't like decide I'm going to be an Olympian and then 3 days later you're winning the gold. It takes a minute. Like, how long you've been at this for, Ryan?
I've been investing for a while, but as far as actually like day trading and trying to swing trade, it's been a little under a year. It's been like 11 months and change.
Okay, so Ryan, let's make sure we manage our expectations to be appropriate to the fact that you have just 11 months ago stepped into the most competitive game in the fucking world. Hello.
Yeah, I know. I always go for the difficult levels. I don't know what it is about me.
I don't mind that. I think that's awesome. But if you're going to beat yourself up for not getting it in 11 months, then it's going to be a painful ride to 11 years, don't you think?
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. I don't. If I came across as beating myself up, and let me apologize. I mean, I don't feel like I'm not beating myself up. I just know that I have done some
Ryan, it's microscopic cuts. Beating yourself up doesn't have to be like self-flagellation. It's cuts, what do they say? Death by 1,000 small cuts.
Mm-hmm.
If you're constantly expecting yourself to have it all figured out in certain situations, that's like a small cut. And this is a phrase Ricky uses over and over again. He says it's the mental capital cost. That is just as important as your monetary capital.
Absolutely. And what I've done to try to preserve that mental capital is, I've had a couple of drawdowns, to my trading account, one because of just stupid trading, chasing things that I shouldn't have, looking back on it. And the other was a forced one, just to manage a family emergency. But anyway, coming back from that, I keep my trading account at a certain level, and the way I protect myself and the way I keep myself in the game to where I can trade every day is by trading very small position size and trading with very, very tight stops. So when I do mess up, I do cut those losses quickly. And it feels, just to your point, they're paper cuts, but it sucks getting so many fucking paper cuts, and I've had situations where I've run off, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row, only to be followed up by 4, 5, 6 losses in a row. It's the craziest ride.
Well, make sure that you're not putting your stop loss too tight, right? Like I say this a lot. Your stop loss, you don't get to just put it somewhere on the chart where you're like, okay, this will keep my risk at a set amount. You put your stop loss where if price goes there, without a doubt your idea was wrong, and then you figure out how much size to take with that stop loss and your entry, and you'll end up not getting stopped out as often because as long as you're making decent decisions about trades to take, putting your stop in the right place is probably one of the biggest things you can do to give yourself a foot up.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to pull out today because I have a commitment from a long time ago that I had to take. So I'm gonna say aloha. Give me a heads up how it's going. I'm so excited to see how the homework unfolds for you. Remember, not in your trading, just outside, not at the construction sites or with the people, but in small cost ways. Okay, man?
Hey,
okay,
Kim,
thank you so much, Kim.
Before you go,
Kim,
let people know about your personal website too, not just methodandmindset.com. I think a lot of people should know about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ricky. The wallstreetcoach.com is my website, me and my team. And we're very excited about a new website coming out any day now, but the old website is still up. And we have something called a trader positioning index, which I'm very excited about. And that's going to be a lot of stuff I'll be talking about in the next few episodes, which lets a trader see exactly where they are on this kind of index, and then be able to understand how they can kind of protect themselves when they're trading. So thank you, Ricky, for letting me do a shout out. And I want to see your talk. Will there be a recording of your talk?
Yeah, so all the Traders for a Cause speeches are always hosted over at projectimpact.com, which is like it's basically Traders for a Cause's community they've built where you make a donation to the cancer cause that they're helping fund, and you get access to all their content library, which is like speeches upon speeches upon speeches from prior years and all this other stuff.
Beautiful.
In fact, I spoke in 2019, so I believe that speech is up there. I spoke in 2020. They did a virtual conference for COVID, and I spoke at that too. So I think I have 2 speeches up there, and after we do this one, I don't know how long it takes them to get the speeches up there, but they do keep all that stuff.
Oh, I can't wait to see it, especially because you're going to talk about Finding Joe. It's so awesome. I can't wait to hear that talk. Have a great time. Have a safe drive. And Ryan, safe trading, okay?
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Ryan, thank you so much, brother, man.
Thank you, Ricky.
All right. And,
Safe travels, man, and I hope you have a great time at Traders for a Cause, man. And good luck with that speech, brother.
Thank you.
All right,
All
man.
right. Signing off, guys. I will talk to you all hopefully this weekend from Vegas. I have hopefully a big surprise coming for the Sunday prep this week. We'll see if I can pull it off.
All right.
All right, guys. Peace.
Thanks. Later, Ricky.